H Ayin Dalad Resh. So then he says, Hivya de Rochet Beslas Ma Veshavin Delugin. So there's a snake, right, that runs with in a way of 370 jumps. Tanin. He says the Tanin de Klipa Hanikra Nachash. So again, the word Tanin, I don't know exactly what he means to say by it. He says the Tanin, the Klipa, is what we call Nachash. Rotz umadalag, it runs, it jumps, shlosh me'ed v'shvim dilugim, 370 dilugim. Now we're familiar with the concept of 370, which is the milui of kale times 2. So he says, what do you got here? He says, so this is the 370 that's found in the area of falseness. Kadugma shin ayin the harim sheyesh barosh erik anpin the kedusha, which is similar to the same 370 that we find in the rosh of erik anpin the kedusha. B'inyan mispar shal shlosh meos of shivim. So that what's shot in 370? Who sowed his pashtos eser spheres the klipos? This is the secret of the spreading of the 10 spheres of the klipos, a klipa. Kishlosh spheres arishonim mispashtos called achas lemeya, because each one of the first 3 spheres of the klipa spreads into 100. So that's 300. Harekan shlosh meos. V'shiva seviros tachtonas. Then the next 3 mispashtos called achas lesheva. Each one of them goes into each one to the 7. Harekan shivim. I think that must be a misprint. V'shiva seviros tachtonas mispashtos called achas should be to 10. No?
Yeah.
So, okay, doesn't have too many, they don't have too many misprints. Okay, so he said, Hare kan shivim. Basaka kol hem shlosh meos v'shivim. So if you add them all up, you have 370. So this means the bispashtus, the 370. Huh?
When he crossed the bra, it says the 3 times the top 3 are 100 and the bottom 7 are 10.
Okay, so he straightens it out. Okay, so it's okay. Let's go on. So he says, so now you have 370, and it represents the ispashtus from the gar, and then the ispash from the zat. V'omer od ki kamo came just like this. Dalig al turin, he jumps onto mountains. Madalig al nachash. So this nachash, the snake we're talking about, he jumps over the mountains. Shehem bebechinas dechurim de klipa. I'm not sure exactly what the metaphor is. He says that the snake is able to jump over the male aspects of the klipa. Mekabetz al gavasa. Mekabetz al gavos. What are the gavos? Shehem bebechinas nokvin de klipa. So now we have a snake here. So the snake is some kind of, let's see, they keep going on. Nukvin de klipa maybe Ryan. It brings a Ryan. So exactly what that meant, I don't know. But of a snake that jumps, it represents the number 370, and it jumps over the mountains. And what was the other one called? And the high place. Dechsev kamoshim betzinda b'tzad kedusha shakasu. So like we find over there here, medaleg elaharem mekabetz ala gavaros. So that's our pasuk in Shirim. He says the harim haim sod ha'avos, so because the concept of mountains, the concept of avos, behind the dekurah of the kedusha. So here we talk about the dekurah of kedusha. The gavos haim sod imahos, of the mothers, behind the nukvin the kedusha. Those are the female aspects of kedusha kamo kain. So kamo kain yesh gam b'tzad klipa b'bechin the dekurah of nukvin. So we have the same thing now. Okay, so he's talking about apparently, I think, jumping over the churim and nukvim of the klipa, of Beriah. Varma od zanve befume. So this snake has its tail in its mouth. So this sounds like it's out of the leshem or something. So it says nachash the klipa chaniska, because this nachash of the klipa that we're talking about. Magal as atzmo, he circles himself as atzmo kamo galgal, like a wheel v'noisen as a zan v'rabesoch pev. For Indian, who the Indian is like this, Shazonav Chuba Bechinas Hanukva the Klipa, that the idea of the tail represents the nukva. We see nukva idea is at the bottom, okay. V'kol koyach hanukva the klipo who bepiho lepachos lepatos as b'nei ha'adam la'avera. So what happens is this tail, which is a female aspect, it is in its. Let me see. Let's get his word. V'kol koyach hanukva the klipo who bepiho. So the power of the nukva here is in her mouth. What she do to seduce people into avera. Became if that's the case, hare koyach hasitra achra hanikra zonov hu bepiv. So the power of the sitra achra, which is the power to be able to influence us badly, is in the mouth, in its mouth. V'od ki la'achashin is pata ha'ada l'avera. So now when a person is seduced into avera ha'yedera v'zanav ha'nachav shechach ha'nukva, which is a female, which is apparently in the mouth. Azai ola hazacha the klipa. Then what happens is the zacha the klipa elevates himself lamala lotarvalo. So now she's got the man sinning, and now the male, that's the female aspect, and the male comes up and becomes the accuser. So actually the male aspect is the mouth itself, is the peh of the nachash. He just said the female is the peh of the nachash. I thought that we said, or she speaks through it. Nimski azachu hu bebechin bepecha nachav v'hu maktareg alav bechet shenigram ayedech pitoi hanukva shehu zonav anachash. So now he wants to say that zonav is in the mouth, all right, but the mouth is male, and the female, the tail is female. She gets into the mouth and she seduces a man, and then the male aspect goes up and accuses the person. That phrase that the peh of the machav is placed in the mouth as maaseh zonav anachash, that is what the nachash is able to achieve, my thinking, as a result. So therefore he's going to come and he's going to use his mouth to testify miktarag al yadam, and this becomes the basis of the accusation. V'amar od, and then the beshinui. Now what does that mean? Ki la'achash ha'nachash katarag al la'adam lamala. Who yored the mata v'noitel as nishmaso ayedech nishichas shinov. Now let's say he has teeth. The snake has teeth in its mouth. So then he goes down. He's yored the mata, goes down v'noitel as nishmaso, and he takes the person's soul through biting him by the nishichas shinov of his teeth. Shehein acherev shehol malach hamavis, which is the sword of the malach hamavis. Kamosha and Ember. V'shein behemoths ashalach bombs, that the teeth of the animals I'm going to send onto them. Im chamas zochle afar mechutz tishkav cherev. So there's apparently a long pasuk over there. Im chamas zochle afar. So with all of the poison of the swarming through the dust, mechutz of out and going out from this to shakel cherev. So take, and I guess it will use that sword. The hanezochle afar ku hanachash. So let's say I looked up the word zochle, but I forgot it. So zochle afar ku hanachash. So the squirming of the afar, which refers to the snake. V'shem ku hacherev shalo. So the teeth are his weapon. V'nimsik hanachash hu hayetzer hara. So what is the nachash now? The nachash is the eitzer hara. Shemefata es ada the daber avera, besod zanvo. Using its tail, it seduces a person. Who has satan. This is also the same as the satan, the great criticizer. Hamektarag of the law lamala besod piv, and then turns around, and it's actually one entity, its tail and its mouth, and this is its result. Besod, and this is the sod shinov of its teeth. V'omer od, and we say furthermore, Nokim b'srin gisin. Now what does that mean? He said, Rabaki amnam, Hakodesh Boruch Hu nokif as piv shal chasatan b'shnei tzadei l'chayev shelo yektarev. So what does he do? Hakodesh Boruch Hu, he makes a hole in his mouth of the satan, but on each side. Shelo yektarev. So I guess he can't form words. V'omer kad notel, the Bishah Shachanachash the Klipa no Secho Foreach Lamala. So when he starts making his move up, I guess to make the criticism, no, he says not for that. He says in order to make a yichud. Gistra is avid. Azai na'asach hanachash l'daber muchlach v'nifra l'shnayim. So then he says, Gistra is avid. So I guess Gistra must mean here a split. Azai na'asach hanachash l'daber hamuchlach v'nifra l'shnayim. So then what happens is that it divides itself into two. Kum lomer Hakodesh Boruch Hu mafres as a nachash mechanukva ba'ofen shelo yuchlo lehischaver yachad. So Hakodesh Baruch Hu comes in, and then this is from kedusha, and keeps it from being able to make a yichud. Gemoshe and Abba b'fareich rishoyim, like we say like this when the rishoyim start flying. What does that mean? Who sod prichas and nachash the hizdavig of him flying up to try to make a yichud. Now I'm a little taken back by he said he flies up for the yichud. Before he talked about the circle, and so the circle was the tail inside of the mouth, and then going up to make an accusation. Now Hakodesh Baruch Hu was coming in, and the first part I didn't understand, where he split the mouth, or he made holes in the side of the mouth, which made it difficult or maybe impossible to miktarik. Then he says this gistra is avid. He makes a split. La muchlat of the shnaim. So the Hakodesh Baruch Hu makes it split into two. Commotion and beproach rishoyim, when we say like shu sod prichas anachash isdavig, which is that in order that he should fly up to be able to make a yichud, azai is pardo called poile avan. Then you cause a separation in all those who do evil. And they can't get together. L'slas ruchim. Then what happens then? So then it winds up being split into three different ruchos. Which are the three ruchos? Shehem shlosh dargos shonu shel sitra achra, which are three different levels of the sitra achra, hanikram af, umashchis, v'chema, asher ein beinechem shum chibur. But they're all different, so therefore they can't come together. And this is the action of a Hakodesh Baruch Hu. Okay, so it's still just a touch vague. So now let's go. He's going to go real quickly into Olam HaYetzirah. Kasivs are written like this: V'yichalek Chanuch es Elokem, Ve'enenu, and he ceased to exist. Ki lokach oso Elokem, because Elokem took him. Pirusho Hakodesh Baruch Hu lokach as Chanuk me'olam hazeh, the Hakodesh Baruch Hu took Chanuk from this world. Ve'ela osach l'mala ba'olam Yetzirah, and he lifted him into the world beyond physicality. Ve'asar osach l'malach metat, and he made him there. And this seems like something that you really want to get into more. He made him into metrat or matat shuhu ba'olam Yetzirah, which is in the olam Yetzirah. And it is written like this: Chanuk lenar al pi darko. So he says the Chanuk went to the nar. The nar is another word for matat. Al pi darko, in a natural way. Kolomar shechanuk naasach lenar yudua, the one, the nar we know about. Shuhu malach matat hanikra nar. V'amar od, and he says furthermore, ki lekach amar hapasuk es elokim v'lo amar es yudke vavke. I don't know if she's coming back. Okay, we just have a few more lines. Chanuk is an olam Yetzirah. Na'aseh meshamesh le'olam asher ma'alav. He becomes a servant to the world that's up above him. Shuhu olam abriach hanikra Elokem, which is called by the name of Elokem. So he's called Elokem, goes to that place. It's interesting that he becomes a servant to Beriah, but he didn't carry that through. What I was thinking he was going to say was that the servant is an Elokem, but he didn't say that, because he says it's a servant to Beriah, which is Elokem, and not to Avaya, which is Atzilus. And Beriah Odin explains furthermore, Ve'eneda b'shem zeh. And he ceased to exist. That he's not called by the name Chanuch. Elokem took him, so they should be called by his name. Ma'ata nikra rak shem hamalchus b'shem malchus shuhu shem elokim. And so now he's only called by the name of Malchus. I didn't get a whole lot of that metaphor there. Okay, I guess that's it. Thank you very much. Call to.